So lying on your backs, just begin with your connection to the floor, your connection into your body and out of your head, into your sensations and out of your thoughts. Sensing the places of pressure on the back of your heels, your calves, your thighs and buttocks, and your back, your arms, the back of your head. And if you were to draw a line from the bottom of your right heel, along the back of your right calf and thigh, through your pelvis, up your spine, to your head, and just feel that whole right side of your body and the weight of your right side, the connection of your right side, the length from your heel to your head on the right. Have a sense of that. And then mentally draw a line from your heel on the left side, up the back of your left calf, thigh, hip, into the spine, to the back of the head, and get a sense of your left side. How much of you touches the lightness or the weight of your left side, the length of your left side. And just compare the left side to the right side. Which one is lighter? If you were going to lift a leg, which leg would be easier to move? If you're going to move and raise up one of your arms, which arm would be easier to lift into the air? Feel even your breathing. As you breathe in, do you get more movement in your chest or your abdomen? Can you imagine which side of your lungs you breathe a little more fully into, that you expand a little more, the right side or the left side? And then slowly, one leg at a time, bend your knees up so your feet are flat on the floor. And lying with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, just notice the connection of the soles of your feet. Notice how well connected the bottom of your right foot is compared to your left foot. Notice if you have more contact, more pressure through your heels or through the balls of your feet. And then bring your attention to your left foot and gently begin increasing the pressure under your left foot. So you're pressing your left foot a little bit down into the floor and releasing it. And do that several times, repeating, feeling how you go about organizing yourself to press into the floor, what muscles contract or tighten. And as you release, feel those muscles let go. Continuing to gently and slowly press and release. Take your attention deeper than your muscles into your skeleton. You press, and the bones of your feet get closer to the floor. The pressure connects up into your lower leg, the tibia, the fibula, through your knee and up into the long bone of your thigh, your femur. And as you press, your whole leg makes a stronger contact into the hip socket, connecting with the pelvis. And you can begin to feel that each time you press through your left foot, there's an effect on your left hip and the left side of your pelvis. And see if, without increasing your effort, but just increasing your intention, your clarity of the connection as you press through your left foot, you can begin to feel how the left side of your pelvis raises up slightly from the floor and lowers back down. And notice, can you keep your attention as fully with the process of pressing through your foot and lifting your pelvis, as well as the process of lowering your pelvis and unpressing through your foot? Both directions give information to your nervous system, to your organization. Pressing and lifting, and each time does your pelvis go a little higher. Can you feel a diagonal pressure as the left side of your pelvis lifts up? What happens to the pressure in your back, in the back of your shoulder blades, the right side compared to the left side? Does that gentle pressing and releasing through your left foot translate in any way through your spine, up into your neck and head? For some of you, it'll be very clear that there's a connection. And for some of you, at this point, you'll just imagine that maybe there's something to this connection stuff. And then one at a time, bring both your legs back down so your knees are straight. And just from this first set of very small and easy, simple movements, feel the sensations in your left leg compared to your right leg. What are the sensations in your low back on the left side compared to your right side? Up behind your shoulder blades and shoulders. If you've been doing this work for a while, you may feel very distinct differences. Again, if you're new to the work, you might not even know what I'm talking about. And that's okay. Your nervous system is still learning. Again, bend your knees up one leg at a time, please. Lying there with your feet flat on the floor. Again, feel the pressure under your left foot and your right foot. Begin to notice if anything has changed. In these lessons, we're constantly making distinctions. It is through the distinctions that there is something for our brain to pay attention to. If everything always felt smooth, symmetrical, easy, it would be difficult to discern new information and ways of changing and new directions that we want to go with our bodies and our physical movements. As it is in life, sometimes the greatest contrast in life gives us the greatest opportunity to be more and more clear of the direction we want to go. The actions that would be more pleasurable. So bringing your attention now to your left foot. And gently begin the exploration of just increasing the pressure under your your right foot and releasing it. Pressing and releasing. Starting with just the sensations of what muscles contract. What are you activating? What starts and initiates the movement of pressing the right foot into the floor? And how do you feel the releasing of those muscles that are supporting this action? Does it happen all at once, a big contraction into the hip or pelvis? And does it release all at once? Or can you very slowly and incrementally increase the pressure, feeling different muscle groups get activated to support the action of pressing your right foot into the floor, and to gradually release into a neutral, relaxed position. And then grow your attention again beyond just the muscles and into how the muscles are influencing the skeleton. As your foot presses the bones of your foot, find the ground, hopefully in a solid, supportive way. And that pressure gets translated up through the bones of your lower leg, through your knee, into the long bone of your thigh, until you feel that connection into the socket of your hip, gently lifting the right side of your pelvis just a little, not increasing the effort, the muscular effort, but clarifying the intention of movement. Clarifying the understanding of the foot bone being connected to the leg bone, connecting into the hip and pelvis, feeling that little lifting on the right side. And each time you press and you watch as you keep your attention or not to the full releasing of the pressure. And you observe pressing again, maybe lifting the pelvis a little higher and tracking the movement up further. What happens in your spine with that little movement in your pelvis? How does the pressure shift behind your shoulder blades? Is there any sensation, the slightest movement in your head? Just a little bobbing up and down each time you press and release through your right foot. Each time releasing fully, so that each time you begin pressing, there's the possibility of discovering something new about the movement. Maybe something into your shoulders or your ribs. Maybe you notice that you're restricting your breath in some way as you concentrate and focus on the movement. Or you let your face relax. Is there a rhythm to the movement that coincides into the breath at all? Can you just let your head and neck relax a little bit? And then begin alternating the movement. So you press through the right foot, you fully release, coming back to a rested neutral, and then gradually increase the pressure through the left foot, through the left leg, connecting into the pelvis, and feeling the effects on up into your spine, your trunk, possibly your shoulder blades and neck, for some of you even your head. And you release that and you feel how that releases through the whole of yourself, and then shifting your attention to the other foot. Notice what happens with your attention. Does it float off? Do you start thinking or planning, remembering events from earlier today or yesterday? And just like in meditation, bring your attention back to the movement, pressing, feeling, noticing differences, releasing, relaxing. And gradually increase the speed, pressing through one foot, releasing, pressing through the other foot. And just gently see if you can get your pelvis rocking a little bit back and forth. Not because you're rocking your pelvis back and forth, but because you're alternating pressure through each foot. Right foot, left foot. How light and easy can you keep that movement? And does your attention shift to the goal of rocking your pelvis? Or can you just stay in the pleasure of the movement? And what part of this movement is most enjoyable? Do you enjoy the contact of your foot, the support of the floor? Do you like the rocking back and forth? Does one side feel particularly light and easy compared to the other side? And then rest, and one leg at a time. Lower your knees, lengthen your legs, and take a rest. And just see if anything new is percolating in your sensations. Notice the line from the back of your right heel up through your leg, connecting into your spine, to the top of your head. The weight, the length, the contact, the lightness, the heaviness. And again, shifting to the left heel, the line through the back of your leg, your spine to the top of your head. Even one little difference is more than your brain usually attends to in an entire day. For some of us, an entire week or month. We just go and go on automatic pilot, sleepwalking through our days, when there's so much information to help us be more alive with each step, more present, more available to every experience. And again, one leg at a time, please bend your knees up. And bring your right knee over your chest and hold it with your right hand. So that you're not holding under your knee, not the crease of your knee, but sort of just below your knee on your lower leg, right? And see if you can really give the weight of your right leg to your right arm, so that your right leg is as relaxed and as passive as possible. And as much as possible through your right arm and shoulder, begin to take your right knee in little, small, and gentle circles. And notice, are they really circles, or are they ovals, or are they lopsided, are they octagons? Notice the parts that are flat and unusual. Instead of making them wrong because they're not a perfect circle, could they be your creative expression? How often does an apple tree look like a full round tree at the top of it? There's all these unique characteristics that make you uniquely you. And as you take your knee round and round, see if you can feel how that's creating a circle in the ball and socket hip joint. So you're moving your knee but you're moving the thigh bone, the femur, in the socket of the pelvis. Feel that connection from your leg to your pelvis. Does your pelvis move with your leg, or does your leg move in isolation from your pelvis? And reverse the direction of your circle and notice if you like this direction more, or maybe you picked the direction that you started in because that was the easier, more comfortable direction for you. If your arm or your leg gets tired, feel free to pause for a moment and come back to the movement. If all your brain is feeling is effort, 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 tired, 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 it's very difficult to take in new information. And notice also what's happening in your shoulder, in your chest, your sternum and your ribs, as your arm organizes to make these circles with your leg. And pause. Keeping your knee bent, what are the effects on your right side lying in this position compared to your left side? You can lower your foot down to the floor. What's your awareness of the ball and socket joint on the right side compared to the left side? And then bring the left knee up, hold it with your left hand. And begin again. Begin very small circles. And just little by little make them bigger and bigger. Like you're making a big spiral from the smallest, most central circle. And notice what happens in your pelvis with each circle. How is your right leg influenced? And again, as you try to let the weight of your left leg into your hand, what's happening in your left shoulder, your sternum, your ribs, your neck and head? Taking our attention to the whole of ourselves and back to the little movements. Little movements and back to the whole. And reverse directions. Often throughout our days, if we discover discomforts or pains, we get focused on the spot, the little place of the pain. And it can become a skill then to shift one's attention to the whole of yourself. If you're having a little pain, say, in your back, can you begin to shift and feel the support of your pelvis, of your feet? Let your shoulders relax or increase your breath. And let your leg down and rest. Let your knees be bent with your feet flat on the floor, arms down at your side. And again, bring your attention to your left foot. And press through your left foot, feeling how that pressure travels through your leg and to your pelvis, up your spine, and take your attention over to your right shoulder and arm. And each time you press with your left foot, can you make the connection from your left foot to there being some influence through your right shoulder, behind your right shoulder blade? And just let your right arm begin to roll out each time you press through your left foot, and let it roll back inward as you release the pressure. And you may start this motion as an idea that somehow the instructor thinks there's a connection, although you may not quite feel it yet. But see if by doing the motion of rolling your right arm out each time you press with your left foot and you let the left side of your pelvis lift a little higher and a little higher. If you can let certain things soften so that other things can be released to move more freely. Pressing through the left foot, letting the left side of the pelvis lift and rolling the right arm out. So it's rolling up towards the ceiling and back down in the direction of the floor. And then try it a few times, same movement with the foot and pelvis, but roll your right arm the other direction. So press through your left foot, let your pelvis roll, and roll your hand more down towards the floor, sort of down and out. What's that like? And release everything to neutral. Press again and roll down. Sometimes when we do these, what we call differentiated movements, it becomes more clear. And then release that and let the arm just follow along from the influence of the pelvis and the spine. And see if there's just a little suggestion of the arm rolling up and out. Each time your pelvis lifts, and you can begin to feel your whole trunk rolling a little bit to the right as you press through your left foot. And then just pause, keeping your knees bent. Breathing fully, jaw relaxed, eyes soft. And let's begin this exploration on the right side, pressing through the right foot, reconnecting with the sensation of the right side of your pelvis lifting and lowering. Beginning to get a sense of your trunk getting oriented to roll towards the left each time you press through the right foot. And then one time you press, let your left arm roll up and out as the pelvis lifts. And then come to neutral, and the next time you press, let your left arm roll down and in. So just alternate each time, exploring if in this way can you notice more differences. What's different about the sensation of your arm rolling up and out when your pelvis lifts and your trunk rolls? Compared to when your arm rolls down and in. And for a few of you, having your arm roll down and in may actually be the direction of comfort. There may be something in your organization where this really feels the most natural. And isn't that nice? And then a few times just go with the one that feels most natural as you press through your right foot and lift your pelvis and your trunk orients more and more in a direction to the left. Let your arm just follow. Soften your chest and neck muscles. Let your head follow. Which way does your head want to roll? Again, for some of you, your head will naturally want to go to the left. And for some of you, it will be just as easy and effortless, or more easy and effortless, for your head to want to roll to the right. And then come to the middle and rest and lower your legs. Noticing how your body rests on the floor now. How do you just allow gravity to invite you to be held here on your mat, on this floor, on this planet? What parts of you feel really good? Where there's a lot of sensation of support and comfort and relaxation. And how can you grow that sense of support and comfort into other parts of your body where that's not as familiar of a sensation? And again, one knee at a time, please bend your knees up. And this time with your arms, give yourself a hug. And I want you to hug in a particular way. So take one arm and hold your shoulder, and bring the other arm underneath that arm, sort of holding the other shoulder from behind, so you're not really crisscrossed. And starting with one arm and bringing the other arm under and behind the opposite shoulder. And gently, with your hands, take one hand, so your left hand will gently lift and pull your right shoulder over to the left and release it. And your right hand will gently pull your shoulder over to the right and release it. So the opposite shoulder and arm is rolling your body towards its direction by way of pulling and lifting the shoulder. And just let your head go and roll. Feel your spine turning, your ribs turning. And with this movement that's being initiated from your arms and shoulders, can you begin to follow the influence down your spine into your pelvis? Can you feel the influence from your pelvis into your feet? As you roll one way, is there the slightest inclination for one foot to press a little more into the floor? And as you roll the other way, see if the same thing is or is not true. And you can even play with it, explore with that a little bit. Pulling through your arm, lifting your shoulders and arms and trunk to roll in that direction. Which foot would want to press if you were to press through one foot? Which way would really help make this movement even easier, even lighter, even more connected? And which foot, if you were to press through it, would kind of get in the way? Would create some sort of sense of restriction or contradiction. And then notice which arm is on top and which arm is on bottom, and switch them over, please. Excellent. Good. And continue rolling. What's different? Since I didn't give an instruction for which arm to be on top the first time, chances are you crossed your arms in some habitual way, some way that made a little more sense to your brain than this way, this non-habitual way. So what's it feel like just having your arms crossed in this way? Pulling your shoulders from side to side. And you might even explore going back and forth a time or two. Go back to the first way and see if it sort of feels like, ah, yes, this is what feels like my more natural style of crossing my arms. And then come back to the non-habitual way. And again, feeling the movement all the way from your shoulders, through your trunk, your ribs and your spine, right into your skeleton, your pelvis. And again, which foot would have an inclination to just press a little into the floor and support the rolling movement. And then let your arms rest at your side. Feel your breath, how it enters and fills your lungs, your trunk. Feel, if you can, or imagine the sensation of the right lung filling with air compared to the left lung. How the right lung empties itself of air compared to the left lung. Does one side of your chest lift and lower more easily than the other side? And then one last time, please bend your knees up, feet flat on the floor. And bring your arms out to your side just a little bit. And begin to press through one foot. Follow the connection up to your pelvis, lifting up through your trunk. Letting your opposite arm roll out. Your head roll in whichever direction feels most natural. And releasing it. Pressing through the other foot. And each time you press, feel the connections like a chain all the way up your spine to your head. Let the movement grow. How do you let the movement grow without growing the effort? How do you find the connections more and more clearly, releasing any resistances to your natural way of moving? Pressing through your foot, lifting the pelvis, feeling the movement all the way up your spine to your head. As you press and roll, does your spine get a little longer or a little shorter? Each time you roll, notice if rolling, pressing in this way, lengthens you or shortens you. And some of you will find that as you roll to one side, you have a subtle sense of lengthening through your spine. And as you roll back onto your back, you can feel just the smallest amount of shortening. While others of you will find rolling to one side, you feel a shortening, maybe a curling. And as you come back onto your backs, a lengthening. Side to side. And each time you're at the point where you've rolled, you've lifted your hip, but that's enough effort, just notice, what would I be pushing through? What would I be efforting through to make myself roll further? Don't do it, but just notice, where is the resistance? What feels tight or heavy? See if you can feel that. And you could even get to that side point and exaggerate the resistance. Maybe you feel it in your ribs or your breath. Maybe it's in your lower back or your hips. Take your time. And then let that resistance go. And just a couple more times, rolling side to side, feeling that movement. And then just pause on your back. And just for a moment, recall the first time today, the beginning of this lesson, when you pressed through your foot and what those sensations were like. What would you have to tighten, restrict, to feel the sensation the way you did the first time you pressed through your foot today, compared to the more recent time, as more and more of you allow the movement to connect from your foot through your trunk into your shoulders, neck, and head. And then use this movement to roll yourself all the way on to one of your sides, please. Taking your time to sit up, to stand up, and to experience any influences that this movement lesson has had on how you feel yourself in standing. And enjoy.